If you've struggled with photos which are very high contrast and found it difficult to recover the highlights while simultaneously boosting the shadows without your photo looking fake, then this is probably the most important video I've ever shared. In my last video, I shared my 2-layer method, which enabled us to use Develop Raw twice on the same photo. But as the comments started coming in with people making suggestions for quicker ways to fix that photo, I realized it wasn't the best example. So I've got a better example for you in this video, and I'm going to prove to you why this is the right way to start our edit when we're actually dealing with very high contrast scenes. And at the end, I'm going to show you an even quicker way that we can recover all of that information in our photo, but it may be a case of quicker doesn't necessarily mean better. Right, let's get into it. So if we take a look at this waterfall shot here, you can see on the left-hand side, we have a very dark, rocky area. And as I bring the before and after slider over to the right, you can see that we have a completely blown out sky as well, but I've been able to recover all of that detail, including all of the rocks as well. So let's just make a virtual copy of this photo, and I'm going to revert it to its original state. And before we get into the technique that I'd recommend, I want to show you where things can go wrong with a couple of suggestions that viewers made. So the first one was, why don't you just use the light depth tool? That's going to allow you to brighten an area, as we know, and we're also able to brighten up the pixels nearer to us, and we can also darken down the ones further away. So if I get the brightness far slider and bring that to the left, we should recover those clouds, right? But no, we don't. We can't see the clouds before and after. There's no information being recovered in the clouds, even though we're making it darker. Not like we have in the version I showed you here. So light depth doesn't do it for us. Let's try something else. Somebody else suggested, well, just use the dodge and burn tool to brighten and darken selective parts of your photo. Well, that's a great idea. Let's give it a go. I'm going to brighten up the rocks over here. Yep, that seems to be working. I'll go for another pass over there. Benefit being here, I've got a lovely amount of control. And now I'm going to move to the darkening mode. Make my brush nice and large. Let's put the strength nice and high to get this done quickly. I'm going to darken down the sky and we're going to bring back those clouds. No, okay, maybe I'll paint over it again. No, that is not bringing back the clouds either. It doesn't matter how many times I'm passing this brush over the sky, it's not recovering the clouds. Why not? What's going on? Well, it all comes down to one thing. We're no longer working on the raw data. We don't have access to all that rich dynamic range that was captured by our sensor in our raw photo, and that's why we have to use Develop Raw first. And that's to make sure we have a really strong foundation onto which we can build our more creative edit. We've got to get the technical aspects of the photo right first, and then we can push forward from there. We can always come back to light depth, a tool that I absolutely love, and we can also come in and do some dodge and burn work. Also a technique that I absolutely love. But we can't put the cart before the horse. We've got to do our groundwork first. And now you might be thinking, well, why not just one Develop Raw to get this right? I'm now going to show you why we need 2 layers to solve an issue like this. All right. Okay, let's come into Develop Raw and see what we can do here. The first thing I'd like to do is apply a camera matching flat profile to my photo. Straight away, that's going to give us more dynamic range available to us in our photo. If you don't have a camera flat profile or something similar like a camera neutral profile, don't worry, the Luminar default profile is going to do just fine for you. You're just going to have to push the sliders a little further. But because I have a camera flat profile, that's what I'm going for here. So if I grab the exposure slider and start bringing that to the left, that reveals to us the truth that indeed we do have access to that information. It is there within the file. We just weren't able to recover it with those other tools that we used. So in terms of recovery and getting the base of our photo fixed, we absolutely want to start with Develop Raw. You can see that if I boost the exposure, we've also got access to all of this information in the rocks here as well. It's all there, but the problem, as you can see, if we brighten things up to reveal all of the rocks, we lose all the information in the rest of the photo. And if we darken things down to recover the sky, we then make the rocks go completely black. Now I can hear you. Well, Anthony, why don't we just drop the highlights? Okay, that's recovered the clouds. Maybe they're still a little bright, so we need to just move the exposure slider slightly, something like that. And now surely if we bring the shadows up, we are going to do exactly what you said we couldn't do, which is bring back all of that information in the shadows and the sky. Happy days. Before and after, we've done it. Except We haven't, have we? We've created a really flat file here. Yes, we've brought back the sky. Yes, we've boosted up the shadows in the rocks. But if we're honest about it, it looks bloody awful. And the reason for that is we're taking one develop raw tool and asking it to solve two separate problems. So I propose that instead we deal with the sky as one problem with one develop raw tool specifically to target that problem. Then we're going to separately target the rocks and solve for that problem. And then we're going to bring the best bits of both together into one image. All right, so let me show you how we'd do that. Ooh, that is nasty. Okay, we're going to create a virtual copy of that. And I'm going to come to my adjustments and revert that to the original, just to prove to you that we can absolutely use the Luminar default profile. That is what I'm going to work with in this one. So I'm going to do a combination here of bringing the highlights down and the exposure, and I'm focusing on the sky. I'm going to press J on my keyboard and bring up the curves, and this is going to allow me to bring this white point over to make sure I have pure white, which I do. I'm hitting that pretty quickly. And I'm going to call that done for the right-hand side of the photo, particularly the sky. Now, if I want to apply another develop raw, I come to tools, I open my essentials and open develop raw, and oh wait, it's got every single setting applied that we just set up. And the reason for that is we can only develop our photo once with develop raw. And so this is where this technique comes in to allow us to actually apply a second version of develop raw and unlock all of the data that we need. So we come over to the layers palette. I'm going to duplicate what we just did. We now have an identical copy, one on top of the other, but this time we're going to come back to develop raw and we're going to process this for the rocks. So as a Kickstarter, we want to boost the exposure up. I'm going to keep the highlights low because it's going to help with the transition between the two halves. Maybe I'll boost up the shadows a little as well. And just like before, where I checked that I had a pure white point in the sky, this time I'm going to check I have a pure black point over here in the rocks. I'll press J to get rid of my clipping warnings, and now we can look at the before and after. And now we've solved the technical issue of the rocks being too dark on the left-hand side. And they look pretty good. We've got good color, we've got good contrast, everything's looking pretty good over there, but obviously the sky is completely blown out and we're a little overexposed in the trees and the water. So the next step is we need to combine the best bits of these photos. And because we're dealing with levels of brightness, the easiest mask to enable us to do that is going to be a luminosity mask, obviously dealing with the luminosity, i.e. the brightness of the photo. So I'm going to come to the layer properties, jump into masking, and I'm going to choose a luminosity mask. Currently we have everything selected, but I just want the darker pixels. So I'm going to move this handle over so it's excluding the sky. And now we've just got these darker pixels over on the left-hand side. Everything's really abrupt. So I need to grab this little triangle, bring that out, and that's going to create a smoother transition. This isn't going to be our finished look, but it's going to get us closer. Okay, pretty ugly at the moment. Now we want to come into the brush because we're going to combine masks. What I just did was literally just to get us started. So I'm going to push my strength pretty high so that I can make sure everything in the rocks is selected. Now I'm going to sort of have a transition on the waterfall. We know that we want the waterfall to be brighter, so we can just start to paint this effect in from this layer, making that waterfall brighter. And now I'm going to switch to the erase mode because I want to actually reveal more of the layer that we set up for the sky and these trees over here, even the water. And that's going to help us create a lovely seamless blend. If we have a look at the mask that I've created, it's really nothing special, is it? It's basically a left and a right with a soft transition in between, but it's good enough to get the job done. Let's have a look at our before and our after. Before and after, look at that recovery, and that's more like what I saw with my eye when I was stood there. I feel like this mask does still need just a little bit of refinement. If I take away a little bit of the mask in the water, we're going to bring back some of that contrast in the water. And from here to continue our edit, where we may choose to use some dodge and burn or the light depth tool, what we need to do now is create a single visual entity, a single layer, because currently if I came in and made any change, let's do something really extreme, like a hue shift, you can see that it's only affecting the layer that we set up for the rocks over here. And we want our tools that we're applying now to affect the entire photo. So that's why we combine these two layers into one. So I'm going to select both of the layers. So with one selected, I hold Shift and click on the other one, right click and choose Merge Layers. And now we can carry on with any of the tools that we love inside Luminar, like Enhance AI. We could come to the light depth tool, push the amount up, and then we can actually move the light through our scene. And unlike before when I demonstrated this, now if I control the brightness fast slider, we're actually affecting the sky and we can see those changes in the clouds because we actually brought the clouds back before in the correct way. You've got to do that. You've got to give these tools something to get their teeth into. If there's no pixel information there, they've got nothing to work with. We can soften that blend as well. We could, of course, come down now to dodge and burn if we chose the darken mode and we started painting over that. Absolutely, we're darkening the clouds because they actually exist now. They've been recovered through that process I just shared. So there is another method that is going to recover all of that detail and do it a lot quicker as well. And we're going to compare that in just a moment. But I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you to everyone who is going to be getting the full upgrade to Luminar via my link. I really appreciate that. So you do that through Luminar Prime, gives you access to the upgrade, plus a lot of assets and also courses as well. There's my way of saying thank you to you guys for using my link and everything. I've actually created a new course and it's going to be available within Prime. So you don't need to buy the course or anything. If you've got Prime, you're going to get access. It's not available just yet. I have finished it, but Skylum haven't published it, so it'll be a little while, but it is coming soon. And for those of you who haven't got Prime yet and would like to grab hold of it, get my course as well, there's a link in the description which is going to currently save you 50% until the 31st of August, or until the limited number of passes is gone. Okay, let's do a quick comparison between the exposure blended method that I've created here and Luminar's drag and drop and done method, which is HDR Merge. Let's compare those two options. So I have the original raw file here sat next to the version we just created, and I just need to access the HDR Merge tool, which exists in extras. I'm just going to grab, drag it over and release. And now all I need to do with this single image is click merge. And bammo, just like that, Luminar's HDR Merge tool has created a version that has brought back and recovered all of that highlight detail in the sky, all of the detail in the rocks for us, and kind of done something a little odd with the foreground here, but it's all there. All of the dynamic range now exists. So how does that compare to the version that we just did? Well, if we look at the two side by side, for a super fast solution, I think the HDR Merge tool does an exceptional job. However, the version we created looks a lot more authentic and a lot more realistic. And it's this version that I'd be wanting to finesse into my final edit. So in the previous example where I fixed the portrait, where we had an underexposed face and a brighter background, there again we had two independent problems that existed in one photo and therefore benefited from two applications of the Develop Raw tool. So if you happen to miss that video and want to see it, it's quite a good one. You might want to check it out. It's right there. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, you can click the AT button right there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.